There it is. He timed it right.
Counting to explode with the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still.
Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Another installment of what has fast become the most popular segment here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail! Hands in Your Pockets is back.
You know, you would have thought I was this guy's therapist, the way he keeps talking to me about his feelings. I present some facts, and all he comes back with are his feelings.
Feelings about what?
David Benavidez. He said, you make straw man arguments about predictions you made, which have nothing to do with the price of fish, as if that somehow voids the claim that you're a hater.
Yeah, and you make the claim that I'm a hater as if that voids the facts I raise.
How does the fact that you thought he would fight an old sparring partner mean that you're not a hater? I can't stand Canelo for his drug use and swerving anyone likely to have a competitive fight with him, but that doesn't make me a fan if I predict that he'll beat a fighter.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Canelo has to do with this conversation. The conversation centered around David Benavidez and Jai, two fucking cruiserweights, and here you have another Benavidez fan bringing up Canelo.
Ultimately, all my argument was that you hate on someone that clearly is a genuine problem for anyone in between 168 and 190.
How am I supposed to agree with that when he can't make 168 anymore? I don't think he can make 175 anymore. And as far as 190...
Yeah, 190 is not a division. There is no 190-pound division. There's a cruiserweight division, and I don't think he's a problem for everybody there. He can't be a problem for Jai because he doesn't want to fight him. Doesn't want to fight him for another 2 years. But he continued, not for drug use, not for cherry picking, but for calling out fighters before you felt he was ready, hardly a crime against humanity, and now you've gone on to accept that my accusations are true by accepting that in a poll, all your subscribers would also agree that you're a hater.
No, that's not what I said, and that's not what you initially asked. What you initially asked was, if you took a poll of what fighters you give a hard time the most on this channel, most people would vote David, to which I replied yes.
Right now they would.
But if you go back a little further, it might be somebody else. It might be Ryan Garcia. It might be Gervonta Davis. Go back far enough, it might be Canelo, because this is a common practice here on the channel. I do it all the time, and you watch me do it.
I'm consistent.
You're only now getting in your tits about it because it's about David. You're the one being inconsistent.
Saying thank you for vindicating my position and accepting my point. Now share with the group. Will you finally give this man some props? If he gets Jai Opetaia out of there, or will you still bitch because you claimed it wasn't a foregone conclusion on some post 7 years ago?
That must have sounded a lot better in your head than it does in real time, because do you know what you're asking me? Are you gonna give him props for winning a fight that he doesn't want to have?
See, this is where the facts matter, champ.
When I say that David Benavidez out of his own mouth put a Jai Opetaia fight all the way out there 2 years from now, that's not an opinion. That's not me paraphrasing. That's not me putting words in his mouth or yours. That's what he said verbatim.
2 years.
It's not me being a hater. That's literally what the man said.
2 years.
So after my thoughtful analysis and careful review, bringing up all these facts, the quotes, the names, and the dates, all you can say as a retort is, "You're a hater!"
Do you want me to change your diaper? Because that's a poo-butt argument if I ever heard one. This guy must be a liberal.
Because you know how liberals choose to live in the West, choose to stay in the United States even though all they do is tear it down. That's what this guy's doing now. You choose to come here. You choose to watch these videos.
Come back time and again.
Like he doesn't want to be anywhere else. I wouldn't spend this much time on anybody that I felt was this wrong.
I wouldn't, but he would.
Because this guy's like a liberal. Talk as much shit as you want about the United States. Your punk ass wouldn't want to live anywhere else. You wouldn't make it.
Hands in your pockets doesn't want to go anywhere else.
He wants to stay here. So while you're here, let me fill you in on something. Calling me a hater doesn't invalidate what I said. Deflecting and deferring to other subjects, your feelings or Canelo.
What's that got to do with the price of tea in China or a dildo in the Netherlands?
Don't let me till I come, please.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. For all these long-winded paragraphs you keep writing me, you're not invalidating anything I said.
Because you can't.
You asked me, how does forecasting David's move to the cruiserweight division prove that I'm not a hater?
Well, it's because I did it 2 years in advance. It's because when I did it, I said that his light heavyweight campaign wouldn't last long, and it would come and go without a Bivol fight, without a better B fight, because it's not his intention to fight them. That's why he's looking to move up to cruiser. It proves that I was right.
That's the part you want to skip over, that I was right about everything I said. You just want to put a negative spin on it, that you only said it because you're a hater.
Fucking cares about that? Was I right or was I right?
Because that's the only part that matters. Was I right or was I right? You want to focus on feelings where all I care about are facts.
The thing about facts is facts don't give a fuck about your feelings.
The thing about facts is facts are actually a lot more useful to a lot more people than your fucking feelings.
If you took a poll, people would...
What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Wipe my ass with it? What is the crux of your argument? That I don't like David? Gee, I could have told you that. In fact, I did. In video after video, I told you why, which is the part you keep ignoring.
The part that you can't invalidate by calling me a hater because it's not hate if it's true.
I know you kids love your cliches and catchphrases. That's one for you. It's not hate if it's true. I wasn't hating when I said that David's not going to fight Dimitri and he's not going to fight Artur either. He's going to move up and fight Zurdo.
It's not hate if it's true.
Why are you mad?
I wasn't hating when I said that he'll beat Zurdo Ramirez, but afterwards, he won't fight Jaio Pataya.
It's not hate if it's true.
Why are you mad?
And I'm not hating when I say that Jai going to Zuffa is no obstacle because David can always fight him on one of Turkey's shows, like when he fought Anthony Yard.
It's not hate if it's true.
Why are you mad?
Do you know why you're mad? It's because I've got your guy all figured out. I know what he's gonna do, how he's gonna do it, what he's gonna say, when he's gonna say it. I got him all figured out.
All right.
You too.
I know you can't refute anything I said. It's all factual. So what you'll do is call me a hater.
But it's not hate if it's true. Isn't that what the kids like to say? The kids like you, because you must be one thinking this poo-butt argument was gonna work. Sorry, sweet cheeks, but no dice. You're gonna have to do a lot better than that to discredit me.
Whole lot.
You're gonna have to present some facts, some actual facts of the matter, which you can't, because facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, you may have heard earlier today that tragedy has once again befallen the June 6th Matchroom show that was originally going to be headlined by Dalton Smith, then Dalton Smith turned into Galal Yafai, now Galal Yafai is injured.
Matchroom Boxing has reported via an official statement that Olympic gold medalist and current interim champion Galal Yafai sustained an injury during his training camp. As a result, his highly anticipated unification bout against WBC World Flyweight champion Ricardo Sandoval has been postponed. Despite this setback, the event scheduled for next Saturday, June 6th, at the Utilita Arena in Sheffield will continue as planned, just headlined by somebody else.
The night's new main event will feature Josh Padley's defense of the EBU super featherweight title against challenger Aqib Fiaz. The high-intensity duel promises to maintain the level of competitiveness and spectacle that fans expect from a night of elite boxing in the UK. The entire card will be broadcast live worldwide via DAZN. Both Matchroom and Yafai's team deeply regret this unfortunate news, but the safety and physical well-being of the boxer remain the number one priority. Further updates regarding Galal's Yafai and a new date for the unification,
Galal's Yafai?
Galal's recovery, and a new date for the unification will be provided as soon as possible. Now, I wasn't really all that enthused about this show because I'm just not all that enthused about Galal Yafai as a professional boxer. Standout amateur that he might have been, gold medalist in the paid ranks, it's hard to say he's garnered much attention.
When you often hear me say that, not every great amateur boxer makes for a great professional. It's fighters like Galal Yafai that I am thinking about.
For what seems to be this cursed June 6th Matchroom show that was originally supposed to be headlined by Dalton Smith, but then Dalton got injured and Galal got injured after him.
Is that a coincidence?
And is it also a coincidence that Zuffa is set to be making their UK debut that same day with the recently announced Chris Billum-Smith versus Ryan Rozicki fight?
Is that a coincidence?
Because while I am a big supporter of Matchroom and DAZN, and I have been for years, both cards having been announced, I was actually more excited about the Zuffa card than the Matchroom card.
Billum-Smith versus Ryan Rozicki promises to be a cruiserweight version of Gatti versus Ward. These are not movers, these are not jabbers, these are not guys that are big on defense. These are two hard-punching guys that are going to go right at each other. And that has all the makings of a very exciting fight in tandem with bringing Chris back to his native Bournemouth.
He's a draw out there, and I found myself wondering if Dalton Smith hadn't got injured and he were still main eventing the same time as Chris, whose event would have garnered more attention? Whose fight would have sold more? Chris in Bournemouth or Dalton in Sheffield?
Galal Yafai standing in Dalton's place, does he have the kind of marquee value that could have really carried that show? Because the way it looks like the Zuffa card is a bit spicier than the Matchroom card.
Up until this point, Zuffa has been exclusively at the Apex, what Eddie Hearn likes to refer to as the garage, over there in Vegas, but now they are branching out, they are debuting in the United Kingdom with what looks to be a solid show, and I just find myself wondering, is it a coincidence that both Dalton Smith and Galal Yafai, who were both supposed to be headlining, both fell injured? Or is this Matchroom trying to ensure their event doesn't get cannibalized by another?
They're not injured, they're just moving the show.
I think they're already doing a very good job of promoting the Chris Billum-Smith versus Ryan Rozicki fight. They've already had Johnny Nelson do a sit-down face-off with the boys on Sky Sports, and as we all know, Sky Sports in the UK is a major platform.
Anecdotally, I sort of feel like it's a bit easier to sell the big men, the cruiserweights in this instance, than a 140-pound fighter.
Or the flyweight who is scheduled to be boxing in his absence. It's a bit easier to sell a Chris Billum-Smith than a Galal Yafai. Is that just my imagination? That as soon as Zuffa was scheduled to go head-to-head with a Matchroom show, the Matchroom fighters suddenly fell ill, suddenly fell injured. It doesn't look good.
Now it looks a lot like the bigger show happening in the UK that weekend is gonna be the Zuffa card.
That's the card I'm looking forward to the most. I have to be honest. It would seem that Zuffa's gaining momentum, gaining steam fast across the pond.
And what other news is breaking over there? Former champion Fabio Wardley has activated his rematch clause to fight Daniel Dubois for a second time. Barely a week removed from his damaging 11th round stoppage to Daniel, the Ipswich puncher acknowledged that it was a fight for the ages, but equally he made some mistakes that he will not repeat the second time out. He told Sky Sports, "The boxing world knows my character, and Saturday proved that without a shred of a doubt, it was a fight for the ages, but I made some mistakes that I will rectify in the rematch. Congratulations to Daniel, but I'm coming for you. And my belt."
Son of a bitch.
Fabio is not taking this lying down. Although he went to the hospital for precautionary reasons last weekend, Wardley is now recovering from the facial injuries suffered in the bout, particularly a cut to the bridge of his nose, which often opens up in a fight.
I think it's been that way since the first Frazier-Clark fight. His trainer Ben Davison agreed their fight could have been stopped sooner, given the 31-year-old was shipping punishment and firing back sporadically, as his chances of victory diminished. The longer their firefight continued, the Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren described their clash as the best heavyweight fight he had ever put on, as it got instant acclaim for Fight of the Year honors. Wardley scored 2 knockdowns in the first 3 rounds before Dubois' heavy jab and solid fundamentals helped him take over, aided by passionate head trainer Don Charles.
Been saying those two guys are a great fit. Dynamic duo, Daniel and Don.
Daniel outlanded Fabio in every round besides the first, connecting on 48% of his power shots, 87 out of 180, and had almost double the defending champion's total output, 179, 297 per CompuBox. Queensberry have since confirmed Sky Sports' report on social media, stating all parties will now work towards a rematch for the later portion of this year, with Dubois previously slated to return in November. The 28-year-old's first defense comes against a familiar foe, but one eager to make amends and silence critics after a wild night in Manchester. Wardley is the ring's number 4 rated heavyweight contender for unified champion Alexander Usyk's title, while Dubois moved up to the top spot in the rankings update, trailing the Ukrainian, who scored stoppage wins over him in August of 2023 and July of 2025. Usyk will defend his ring and unified titles against Dutch kickboxer Rico Verhoeven on May 23rd, after which time the WBC will call a mandated defense against overdue challenger and current interim champion Agit Kabayel.
Says a lot about Fabio Wardley's character, given what he endured not but 2 weeks ago, that he's already activated the rematch clause and he wants to go back in there. But not only that, the extent of his injuries, which may have looked worse than they actually were, superficial.
What the fuck do you mean?
He looked worse for wear. He looked the worst we've ever seen him. And the cut, the blood, the swelling, all of it was gruesome. But the reality is, some areas of the face are more likely to bleed out than others. The bridge of the nose, the forehead.
Sometimes the extent of the injuries makes things look a bit worse than they actually are. Now, I'm not saying that Fabio didn't take a beating.
He did.
But that area of his face, the bridge of his nose, it's prone to cuts, and we've seen that before. And, you know, when you suffer a broken nose,
Swelling starts to form under the eyes, making the appearance all that much more gruesome and grotesque. It also gets harder to breathe for the fighter, which is what could have led to Fabio's exhaustion, because it looked like he was running on fumes.
that could have been because it was so difficult for him to breathe. He never actually lost his footing, never got knocked down, or lost consciousness, but he was exhausted.
He was stopped on his feet and he was taking punishment, but that looks to have been because he was so tired.
So maybe what Fabio endured at the hands of Daniel Dubois wasn't actually as bad as it looked, or not so bad that he's not willing to fight him again, because you see what he's doing.
Now, what are his chances?
You may have heard it said before that some people suffer from their own success, and it looks like Fabio Wardley did at the start of the fight, landing not one, but 2 knockdowns early on off of big right hands, to the point he got a little bit too right hand happy. He started looking for that punch too much, to the point where he was telegraphing it and missing wildly.
You know what they say about missing punches? You burn twice as much energy with a punch you miss than if you had actually hit something. And Fabio was missing right hands for days, looking to score another knockdown.
His attack became repetitive, he became predictable, and Daniel knew it. To use his jab, use your lead, keep it in that guy's face, because he doesn't move his head any more than you do.
In the end, it was the jab that deconstructed Fabio Wardley. That and him being a bit too predictable at the start. So can he win the rematch?
This is gonna sound strange, but I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule out Fabio Wardley avenging the loss, and maybe we get a trilogy out of this. I could see that! By now we know that Fabio packs a big enough wallet to sit him down more than once, that he can land the right hand because he did 2 times.
The adjustment that Fabio needs to make isn't even really a big one. Just do a better job of disguising that right hand with your lead, and vary it a little bit. It doesn't always have to be a looping right hand over the top. It can be a right cross, or a straight. Alternate how you throw it.
And when, because you don't always need to jab at the guy's head. You can jab at his chest, you can stab to the body, then change levels and bring the right hand over the top. Be a little bit more creative, and you'll land that punch again, and this time, maybe he doesn't get up. It's the heavyweight division, folks. You're always 1 punch away from being knocked out, so I don't write off Fabio in this rematch.
There is a chance that he can win.